Hey, welcome back to Variety Homestead. So today I want to do a little miniature Variety Homestead shop talk. Debbie's not here. She is currently making dog food. Yes, we make our own dog food, and we'll do a video on that, show you how and the procedure and how much it costs and all that good stuff. And the short answer is yes, we do save money. The thing I want to talk to you about today, though, is making a fire with char cloth and making char cloth. So what we did was we made char cloth, and I'm going to show you that whole procedure and how we did that. But I got to thinking, so if you don't have a fire and you need to make char cloth, how do you start a fire? Well, you can use one of the modern methods that everybody uses today. You can use, the lighter or matches or, some other method that allows you to make fire. But if you got all of that, do you really need the char cloth? So I got the bright idea that I was going to use char cloth with flint and steel to make a fire in order to make char cloth. And to be real honest with you, it was my first time ever doing that, and it didn't work out so well. I was not able to get the fire started with the char cloth. And when you watch this, which is getting ready to come up, you may be able to figure out things that I did wrong. What I'm going to attribute it to is, and I found out later, is the char cloth that I had came in a little kit. And this kit, which I'll show you, which you'll see, that it only had 2 or 3 pieces of char cloth in it, and it was super brittle. And the piece of flint that I had was microscopic compared to what I needed to hold in my hand. I did get it lit off a couple of times, but I was unable to actually get it to catch into a fire. So I ended up using the old use a lighter trick to start the fire so that I could make the char cloth. So the entire thing wasn't a complete bust. You do get the how to make char cloth, but what you don't get is how to start a fire with char cloth. And I'm going to have to do some more practicing. And I say that, and you'll see that in just a few minutes when we watch this. But the reason I'm even showing it at all is because I want to point out that one of our goals here, and one of the things that we said we were going to do at Variety Homestead, was to show you the good and the bad, so the successes and the failures. This was a partial success, even in that I was able to make char cloth, but it was an epic fail in that I was not able to start a fire with char cloth. So I'd never done that before. And this is something that I think that a person would need to practice. Now, back in the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries, when people probably did that on a regular basis, because until matches were invented, they had to do something, and flint and steel works really well. I did not have that much experience with it. So it's something that will require you to practice a little bit if you want to do it yourself. So stay tuned, hang with the video, and you'll see the good and the bad about starting a fire with char cloth and making char cloth. Thank you.
Hey, welcome back to Variety Homestead. Today I'm going to be showing how to make char cloth. So the first thing I'm going to do is start a fire with char cloth. And then we'll show how to make it, and then I'll take a piece that we just made, and then we'll start another fire with it. So this kit came with char cloth. It's just a little bit, and it's extremely brittle. So hopefully now I've got several different kinds of rocks here. And this is the piece of flint that came with the it's like a little arrowhead. It is actually a little arrowhead, and it works. But out here at the campfire place, I've got a bunch of different kinds of rocks around here, and some of them are river rocks, and they break off. So I found some pieces, and I thought I would try and see if that will actually work. So I'm going to give this a shot. Lost it. Oh gosh. So here's what happened. I only had a few pieces of char cloth, and they're extremely brittle. And I actually got it started twice, but the char cloth burned out before it caught the bundle. And the bundle is pine needles and some hemp rope. So this is one of those cases where I have to use a modern fire starting method in order to start an ancient fire, or a fire the ancient way, or 200-300 years ago. I was getting a good spark off of all of these rocks, but my thumbs were pressing on the char cloth and I was disintegrating the char cloth. So in order to show how to make char cloth, I'm gonna have to light this and do it the old-fashioned way, the old 2000 way, certainly in the Boy Scout way, and get a fire going here to do this. So while that's starting, I'll show you what I've done here. Debbie bought this tin, little metal tin. It was a cookie tin at one point. I drilled a 1/4 inch hole in it, and then we took some 100% cotton material. This is t-shirt material. This is some other type of shirt, not a sweatshirt, but it is also 100% cotton, and it's loosely in there. Now I'm going to put some punk wood in the bottom while this is catching good, and then I'm going to sit it on the coals, and we're going to see how long it takes. Some people say it takes a really long time, but I'm going to find out, and I'm going to keep you posted because I do have my handy dandy watch on. So I need to get a stick, which I have, and whittle it down where I can poke a hole in, or where I can stopper this thing up when it finishes, or when it gets to the point where it I can use this end. Yep, that will work nicely. Okay, what I want to show you here is there's punk wood in the bottom of this. I saw some guy do it once with putting some punk wood on the bottom so the charred cloth wouldn't be but so charred. I don't know if that's the deal or not, but punk wood is a good and burns longer than char cloth, or retains an ember longer, so I am told. I have not experienced that, but I'm going to put this down, then I'm going to put the cloth back on top. All right, so here it is. Got the cloth back on top. It's just loosely in there. And then the top's going to go on. And when the smoke is going to start coming out of this hole. And when the smoke is gone, it's gone. It's ready. And so then I'm going to plug it. Well, I'm going to take it off the fire. And I'm going to plug it like this. And it needs to cool off completely. So that way it won't reignite because of the air. So we're going to get going here in just a second. This is the kit that Debbie got me. So it comes with the steel striker, a little teeny piece of flint, a little baggie of char cloth, and this stuff is super brittle. I used several pieces, ended up having to light it the modern way. It's got some burlap and some jute twine. Now I have jute twine, and I also have some hemp rope. And we'll try some of the newer char cloth and see how well that works out after this evolution is done. But it comes in a nice, neat little kit, and I like that. It gives us one more way to make fire, you know? It's all about learning stuff. Okay, I had to take a pause to go get some tongs because putting it on there and taking it off, it's going to be hot. So I'm going to put this right on top of this fire, and we're going to let this baby roll while I enjoy a cup of coffee with my Townsend's Nutmeg Tavern mug that I got last Christmas. And there's already smoke coming out of the top. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but remember that hole's right in the middle. So there it is. You can probably see it really well now. So that stuff's starting to burn. Make sure that top is good and closed. And what I did was I drilled a 1/4 inch top in there. So when we take this off, when the smoke stops coming out, then it's going to be done. And then I need to plug it, like I told you a minute ago, with this stick. I've whittled down a little bit so it'll cover the hole so that the air doesn't cause the char cloth inside and the punk wood to ignite. So I'm going to step out of the way of this smoke because it's blowing right at me. Now you can see the smoke coming out. And we're going to let that cook until that smoke stops coming out. Don't know how long that's going to take. It's been about less than 5 minutes since I put it on the fire. Now you got flames coming out, which is also not unusual from what I've seen from making your own charcoal videos. So it's going to stop in a few minutes and we'll see how long that takes. As you might be able to tell, the flame that was coming out of the hole is just about gone. When that's gone, I think it's going to be ready. It has been a total of, it's been right at 10 minutes. So stand by. All right, the flames are gone. The smoke is gone. I'm going to pick this bad boy up and I'm going to set it over here. Hopefully not out of complete camera shot, but I'm going to set it right over here on the bed of the rocks and put the plug stick in it. And we're going to let it sit there until it gets cool, totally cool to hand touch. Then we're going to have a reveal. We're going to open it up and see what it looks like. Okay, so the pan is totally cool to the touch. It has been a grand total of 23 minutes from the time that I put it on the fire. So it was on the fire for just about 10 minutes. So it's taken about 10, 13 minutes. I'm going to undo, I'm going to pull that little stick out. I'm going to take the top off, and ooh, it wants to be on there, but it's coming off. And we got the big reveal here. And there's the punk wood, and here's the char cloth. Two different types of char cloth here. So we had a t-shirt we cut part of that up. That, I'm gonna see just how brittle that is. It's pretty brittle. It's like the other stuff I had. This other material was from just a lady's shirt. It was my wife's, by the way. And it feels more spongy, but it tears good. So what I'm gonna try now is to see if I can do an ember from either one of these pieces here. Actually, maybe both of them. Let's take a piece of the thicker stuff, and let's take a piece of the t-shirt material. And there we go. That looks good. I like the bigger pieces. That last char cloth I was using a little while ago, they were so small and they were just totally not, they were disintegrating so bad. This must have been t-shirt material because it really feels like this. But I'm gonna try to draw a spark and get a little bit of an igniting going on. Let's see how I want to do this. Find a sharp edge, and I'm going to, let's see, I want how much land area as I can get here. We got it. So the t-shirt material is really brittle. The other stuff is really not bad. But the good news is this other stuff holds up way better. This non-t-shirt material, this thicker stuff, holds up way better when you're using it to strike with. So I'm pretty pleased with that. And this is how I'm doing it. I'm holding it and trying to get me a spark off the top, because
Henry's pleased too.
yes, Henry is. So this is obviously something I need to practice a lot more on. But it's interesting. I'm getting sparks, but I'm just not getting enough to get it to ignite. And of course, it's not going to be easy to hold. There we go. You got it. Whew. All right. So, moral of the story is make some extra char cloth. The t-shirt material, in this case, it was just a 100% cotton t-shirt, is, in this case, really brittle. I suppose it will work. I did get it to work twice before when I was trying to start this fire with char cloth, but it burned out really, really fast. This thicker material does well too, and it lasts longer. So I'm going to stick with this thicker material for my char cloth, and I've got punk wood, which I have not tried, but I think it's going to take me a little longer to do that. So it's not an epic fail, but what it is my lack of experience doing it. So I'm obviously going to need a lot more time building a fire this way, but I now have the materials to do it with, and I can do it. There you have it. Today at Variety Homestead, we learned how to make char cloth, we learned how to make punk wood, and rocks other than a straight piece of chert or flint will work. This isn't flint and this is quartz. I do get sparks on these. The piece of flint that I have, very small, very difficult to hold. So I'm going to get some flint, some larger pieces of flint, and see how that works out. All right, so until next time, thank you for coming along with us for the journey. Thank you for visiting Variety Homestead. Don't forget to like and subscribe.